Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another vidIQ live stream. My name is Dan, and I am so excited that you are here today. We are going to have an awesome time. We are talking to a number of other creators about what we're calling the state of YouTube here in 2022. It should be an awesome discussion. Glad to see you're all here. Hey, thank you for being here, and thank you to Rob for also being here. Hello, Rob.
Hey, Dan. Hey, everybody. If there was one decision that I made correctly with vidIQ, it was choosing that intro music. It gets me pumping every single time. And look at this, everybody. Episode 1001 is currently live. Welcome to the next part of the YouTube journey for us and all of you.
1,000 videos. I'm really sorry that number 1,000 had Savage in it. I still feel bad about that. If you don't know what I'm talking about, watch yesterday's channel audit stream, especially like towards the end. Before we get our guests here with us, let's get the plugs out of the way. We're talking to some other YouTube creators today, and what that means is the best tool I can show you is probably our vidIQ competitors tool, right? Why not? This is just one of many tools that you can download with the link down below. If you're a new customer, you can get it for 30 days free, our whole suite of tools. And if you get the competitors tool, one thing you can do is add folks in your space to this list, and then you get a constant update of what they're up to on YouTube, which is, for me, a great way to follow trends. One of the great ways to use this tool is to get some people in there who are right at your level in terms of subscribers and views, get some people who are at the level you hope to be at soon, and then get some people who are all the way at the top, the tippy top of where you want to be. And you can learn so much from all those different groups of people. So I just wanted to show off this as one of many tools we have here at vidIQ. And Rob, with the plugs out of the way, I think it's time to bring on guest of honor number one.
Let's do this.
Baker. How are you?
Hi, it's so good to see everybody. I'm so glad to be here, even though I am in not my fun and normal setup.
And hashtag are the law nerds in the house. Do let us know in the chat.
I'm sure we've got some, but I need to go share out some more so that they know, because they know I've been traveling. So I'm sure we'll see some. I can't even see the chat from mobile, so it's going to be a fun adventure for me. Sorry to be vertical, but you know, we do what we can do.
It's a new YouTube.
What I'm upset about is the dearth of cats.
I am also upset about the dearth of cats. I need to find a way to just sneak them with me when I travel, but they are a bit too persnickety for that.
Yeah. And our second guest of honor today, Desiree Martinez. How's it going?
Hello, friends. I'm so excited to spend this afternoon with you.
I'm so excited to see you too.
I know. It's going to be fun. And all of our friends on the YouTubes.
And all of our friends on the YouTubes.
Welcome to the jungle that you're about to enter into. It's going to be
We've got the fun and games. We've got everything you want.
Is that how it goes? Something like that?
I mean, normally it goes, welcome to the jungle. We've got the fun and games.
Hey, don't copyright this live stream. None of that nonsense.
That's not even close enough to get tagged. Not even close enough to get tagged. And it's fair use. And I think it's also transformative use.
We've earned it, and
probably parody.
Rob,
it after 1,000.
It is parody.
After 1,000 videos, I think we earned it. I think that's
one.
a treat. Yeah. There may be another guest joining us at some point in the day, but we'll get started with just what's going on YouTube. We figured the first topic to kind of kick things off, and for those listening, we will be bringing in questions a little bit later in this live stream from you guys, and we'll be using them, I guess, as more topics of discussion. But for the first half of this live stream, we're just going to chat about our thoughts on YouTube. And I think the first big question we should talk about is YouTube still the place to be in 2022. We have TikTok now emerging with millions of views probably a second. It's getting pretty competitive. What do we think? Is YouTube still the place to be? We'll start with Desiree.
I think that if you're not using YouTube as the foundation of everything that you're doing, no matter if you were like a gaming creator, an entertainer, in business, trying to be an influencer, you're doing it all wrong. I truly believe that TikTok is a flash in the pan. I think that they're super screwing over their creators.
Fighting talk already.
Super screwing over their creators right now. And I think that I just think YouTube will continue to do it better because they're taking care of their creators first.
Are you referencing the Hank Green video from last week?
Well, yeah, obviously that's part of it. But I think it's kind of things that we've kind of all known, like the payouts alone are entirely like reasons. Like as you get more successful, you need to bring in the people that are making you successful. Like TikTok is nothing without its creators. There are people that do this for full-time jobs and they want to do this all the time. And if you're making 8.5% off of ad revenue and you could be making 55% on YouTube, like it's ridiculous. Is it a great place to consume content? Yeah, it's a great place to have fun and laugh and have fun. Absolutely. Are there other opportunities that you can tie into TikTok, like using it as a lead source, establish yourself as an expert and influencer, and even bring them over to YouTube? Absolutely. However, you should also be doing this on YouTube first and adding the other things in later, whether it's Facebook Reels or just doing Facebook video and getting part of their creator program, doing stuff on Instagram, whatever it may be. YouTube is where it starts.
Emily, what do you think? What's is TikTok a flash in the pan?
I have different thoughts. I mean, is YouTube the place to be in 2022? It depends if you like making money. If you don't like making money and just want to grow subscriber numbers really quickly, TikTok is the place to be. You can grow subscribers much faster there. You're just not going to get paid on it. So if you want the validation, go to TikTok, get validated. Maybe also harassed, but go to TikTok and get validated, and it's perfect. But if you like making money and would like to get actual AdSense, I think YouTube still pays creator better than any platform. I think we're seeing Twitch go through a crisis of what they are going to do on their platform and how they are going to deal with things. And as far as monetized platforms, you're starting to get monetization on Instagram and Facebook, but it's not like the monetization here. Facebook is the next platform, I would say, if you want to get monetized, to be on, because Facebook is actually starting to pay decently. It's a little different to grow there. I like growing on Facebook better, but that's also where I've chosen to be. I think Facebook is a more advertiser-friendly hub if you want to bring on sponsors. I've not seen a sponsor say, oh, could you also put this on, Facebook? When I work with sponsors, and I work with 4+ sponsors a month now, they're asking, could you also put it on your podcast? And my podcast is also on YouTube. They're not asking about Facebook. They're not asking a ton about Instagram. Part of that's my demographic and me as a creator, but it's also because the eyeballs aren't the same. You get a lot more people through your content on YouTube. But if you want fast growth and that hit of adrenaline of like something going viral, TikTok's great for that. You're just not going to make the same amount of money.
Yeah.
At all.
I couldn't agree with you more. And even one of the people in our comments said like one TikTok view is equal to like 100 YouTube views. Their numbers are so inflated. Like you don't have a lot of control over who sees your content. It's just kind of like with TikTok, there's a lot of maybe you'll like this, maybe you'll like this. And I think that it's great. Again, I literally am that person that spends like an hour before bed, like watching TikTok. So I go to laugh and get entertained. And I share a lot of like tracking trends and that for my audience because I teach people about social media marketing. So I think it's super relevant stuff. But from what we do here, I think on the vidIQ channel, which is let's grow a channel to grow a brand to build a business. Like these are the 3 parts that we really focus on that starts in YouTube. As someone who works with service-based businesses, a search-based strategy works 10 times faster than anything that you do on social media. And it keeps working for you. My best performing video is like 3 years old, right? Because it keeps getting found in search because I did the work and I tapped into what my audience wanted. All the other videos that I make have something to do with it, or it's based on something that's trending. Like my top performing videos right now are about how to use TikTok to grow your business and use it as a part of your social strategy. It's what's happening on my YouTube channel, but doesn't change the fact though, in order for them to learn about TikTok, they're coming to YouTube. Right. Yep. So it's just kind of like the iron. It's the same thing. Like when I learn about Facebook, Instagram, how to do anything on these platforms, like they're going to YouTube to find the answers. That should tell you that's where you should spend your time.
Well, you hit on the main point, which is search.
Mm-hmm.
You can't search TikTok in the same way. TikTok's algorithm is scary accurate, but it will just serve you what you want. YouTube is a combination of giving you what they think you want next, but you can also search it. And when you search when you search the Googles, okay, Emily, when you search the Googles, you will see explicit clips come up of video. Like I was trying to figure out how to do something and it gave me the chaptered mark of a video that had exactly what I wanted. So YouTube is now, well, YouTube's always been so integrated with Google that when people are Googling things, it's like, oh, here's a video answer, here's a text-based answer, and you can pick it. And that's where chaptering your videos is so incredible because Google picks it up and is like, this is the exact 3 minutes you need to solve your problem. That's what YouTube is excellent at.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to go back to one very inconsequential point and ask Desiree, please tell me, when you're listening to TikTok for an hour in bed, you put on headphones, because my wife does that. She doesn't, and it drives me bonkers when I'm trying to read.
I have a really weird marriage. So I'm a morning person and my husband's a night person. So we have a very clear established over the last like almost 8 years of being parents that he's in charge of night shift and I'm in
Right,
charge
okay.
of the morning shift. So usually if I'm in bed watching, I'm by myself because
Fair enough.
he's
fair
off
enough.
like doing his nighttime like set where that his brain, that's how his brain works. It's a perfect balance for us for sure. But yeah, so I don't have to. But if my husband's like with me, I don't tend to be on my phone because I like spending time with my spouse.
Hmm.
Sorry, internet, if that's not okay.
I would say, in terms of is YouTube still a place to be, I'm obviously going to be hugely biased about this, not only because YouTube changed my professional career, but I also represent a company that's doing a lot of stuff within YouTube. So I think YouTube is still a place to be. People like Mr. Beast and Marques Brownlee, who've been on the platform for a very long time, say that YouTube is not going anywhere. And I consider YouTube to be somewhat of a grandparent in the internet space these days. It's very mature. It's grown up almost with many of us over the last 15 years. But at the same time, I think that Wild West element of opportunity is starting to go. There is still the opportunity for individual creators in a long form space to find a community and an audience, but there's so much competition and saturation, and that's getting more and more difficult. So I think the opportunity has changed, and because of this big threat and emergence from TikTok, almost like the path of least resistance to get, as you say, validation and a big audience very quickly, and a new generation of content consumers, that's where TikTok is all of a sudden quite a huge threat. And also going forward, you've got to think about the metaverse and whether that's going to be something big, perhaps not this year or the year after. But I think a real perfect demonstration of this is Emily herself, who you started to pick up on YouTube. Was it in like 29? Was it the back end of 2020?
It was the very end of 2020 when my channel started to grow, and my channel really took off and grew to what it is now in 2021. So there is room.
Yeah, that's an excellent example of, you know, somebody starting with, you know, relatively small base, but growing it to the point of a silver play button and beyond in a space of a year, which is still very possible.
Yeah. We're almost at 200K. I think we're about a week away from 200K, but there's room for that. But I had a TikTok take off to over 400,000 views in like inside of 3 days, which is not something you're generally going to see on a starting YouTube channel. However, if I got $400,000 or 400,000 views on YouTube, I would get the dollars that correspond.
Yep.
On TikTok, it's cents. And so I think for making it a career, it's here. But if you want to be, you know, a D'Amelio that's then making money through brand deals with Dunkin' Donuts and stuff, that can happen, and it can happen very quickly. But it's also what comes next after that, where I think building a longevity in a content creator career, that YouTube is a huge part of that, because the TikTok creators I've seen come over to YouTube struggle to bring their audiences from TikTok over to YouTube, because the TikTok audience is very different, where I'm in the podcast long form space and those audiences flow back and forth between the two platforms well. And then occasionally I'm on TikTok and my YouTube audience is like, hey, you're here too. And I'm like, sometimes I am.
And see, it's so interesting to talk about that. Like, you do long form. My stuff is very like informational. Like I'm Rob's worst nightmare from an analytic perspective, because my bars between new viewers and returning viewers is such a big gap, because I'm solving problems for people based on search. And my objective is actually not to get them to keep watching my videos and subscribe. My objective is to get them on my email list, because my email list, as of like the last quarter, has like over 45% open rate, because people know what to expect when they come for me. I'm going to help them with their social media problems, which helps my sponsors and my business and my objectives. So when you're talking about like why we're doing things, I think every person who's on YouTube, whether they're in this chat now, if they're a veteran or if there's someone new who's trying to figure out what to do, you have to ask yourself these questions like, what am I doing here? Like, what is the purpose of this? And what is my long-term objective? And if your long-term objective is I want to be famous and make lots of money, have lots of subscribers, you probably want to like reverse engineer that down to smaller, more manageable goals that you can get to along the way to help you with your brand or business. I don't think we can ever give blanket answers to anything. I think we can have like nice generalizations, but what some people works for some kinds of channels doesn't work for every kind of channel.
It's your goals. It depends on what your goal is. And that's the same with YouTube. It's like, should I be doing shorts or should I not? It depends on what your goal is, what your content is, and what you want to be doing as a creator. Here's what I did when my YouTube channel took off. I talked about stuff that I want to talk about all the time. If I've gotten off a 4-hour live stream and my husband's like, what did you just talk about? I will start over and be like, oh my God, you're not going to believe it, this and this and that. And that is the content I make. It's the stuff I want to talk about all the time. It's hard for me to come on here and be like, oh my God, did you guys see Real Housewives of Salt Lake City this week with the hot mic moment? Like, it's a challenge to dial it back. But it's because I talk about it all the time and that's what I want to talk about. And I found the audience that wants to hear about it too. And that's, as a creator, you have to talk about things you want to talk about, because we're seeing creators like a Jacqueline Hill in the makeup space being like, I don't want to make makeup videos. And her audience is like, excuse me, we are here for makeup videos. You are a makeup YouTuber. This is what we want from you. And she's talking about her content not getting views. And it's like, well, you build an audience in one way, and yes, you can shift, but that has to be an intentional shift, not like, I just don't feel like it anymore. So pick a thing that you want to do and do the thing. You will find the audience.
You have to brace yourself for that kind of shift too.
Dan,
Yes.
Dan, what do you think? What are buns left to pick off of this question?
I think that YouTube, going back to, I believe what Desiree said early on, like YouTube is a great foundation. And I believe that because YouTube is really well-rounded now. Like TikTok, we can, whatever you feel about TikTok, we can thank them for coming around, because YouTube's like, hey, short form content, not a bad idea.
Yeah.
Vertical videos, sure, let's embrace it. Now we have shorts, which is just yet one more tool in our toolbox. Do you have to use it? No, you can ignore it, just like you ignore live streams, for example. If you don't do live streams on your channel, that is a feature of YouTube that is there for you if and when you want it, if and when you choose to use it. And that's what shorts is becoming. It's still rolling out. We're seeing it more available on desktop. Just yesterday we were streaming and realized, oh, yet again, a new development on shorts for desktop. Now, if you go to someone's channel and they have shorts on it, they appear vertically. And if you click into them, you're watching them vertically. And if you scroll, just like swiping through the feed, but you're scrolling on a browser, like they've implemented all these new things. Shorts is just getting more and more and more embraced by YouTube. And it makes YouTube a more well-rounded platform and a nicer place to be overall.
And I think what's great about that is kind of like what Rob had said, like that we have a veteran established social network with YouTube. And then we have this Wild West thing with TikTok. What's so great about being established and having your ish together is that you can take things that they can see as successful or potential competitors or threat or thing that people want now, and then like bring it in to the platform and find a way to make it work so that that kind of content can work here, since obviously there's a demand. And so by being able to have that in place, you can do that. So it's like, what's so great about YouTube is that they see what is happening in the world and what people want, and they're able to develop it and add it into YouTube. So it's kind of like a way to bridge the old and the new in a really great, reasonable way.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
That comment from Koifish Gaming.
I know.
Can we ban vertical videos? Stop holding your phones wrong.
No, because it's how people consume content.
Right.
And people are getting trained to consume content. And the thing I like about YouTube is when you are in vertical mode, it, unlike other places, TikTok too, it takes up your whole screen.
Yep.
Like it grabs your audience's full attention, and it feels sometimes more personal to be, it's almost like you're FaceTiming someone, right? So I don't think vertical video is going anywhere until it's like hologram video from your watch. I'm still waiting for like Yoda to pop out of my watch and encourage me every day. That's what I need to happen in my lifetime. But
it's this.
I know
this
it's like
is
the
comfortable.
metaverse. It's that. Yes, it is.
No one holds their phone walking around like this.
Yes.
Yeah.
Except for vloggers. Vloggers are the only ones that walk around with their phone like that. And even then, I think it's going to change.
I'm sorry, I have to do this now. Audience retention you must seek.
Yes.
Should we move on to the next topic, Dan? Let's try. I think we've got some good timings going on here.
Yeah. Okay. So We have a lot of things we want to talk about, and we chose this one specifically for you, Desiree. Let's talk about money.
This is Desiree's favorite subject on YouTube.
we just touched on this a second ago, talking about how TikTok, the payout on there is abysmal, and YouTube has always done a very good job of sharing the wealth, if you will.
Yeah.
It's profits that it makes from advertisers. It shares, it splits with creators. It's not based on a percentage like the TikTok Creator Fund. And I probably believe the Shorts Creator Fund will resemble something like the TikTok one, but that's neither here nor there right now. Is YouTube the best place to be making money out of all the platforms? I think it's a simple answer.
I think that it's the best with Facebook behind it. And then only because it's the only other option from a paying out perspective is TikTok. And I think if any of us mentions Facebook or whatever, we're also kind of bridging Instagram because it's the same creator fund. I mean, the math alone, like from an AdSense perspective, 55% comes from to the creator. Like we get more ad dollars than the company that's creating the platform for us to do things on. And TikTok, it's 8.5%. Like 8.5% of the company. So as they are making more money, they're paying their creators less. And I think that Hank Green really having that call out in that video that he did, which was phenomenal and I think super necessary, was huge. There was a creator that did like a TikTok response to it, and he broke down like how much his RPMs were. So I guess Facebook's RPM was $2.53 on 1.6 million views. A YouTube video with 20 million views had 26 cents, and TikTok it was 2 cents on 23.4 million views.
Wow.
Like that's insane. So you're talking about people like even Mr. Beast posted on Twitter that he gets probably somewhere in the high millions, if not billions of views on his TikToks. He made $14,000 last month on TikTok. Like
that's dumb because he's making millions on YouTube.
Yeah, millions. Like, so like he can't justify investing in TikTok because for him, it's I need to make as much money as I can to make the next great video. I can't make the next great video anymore with $14,000, which is crazy for some of us, I know, but it's just kind of one of those things. So I think that is what's important to remember. TikTok has been fun, but the creators are not going to get paid. They're not going to do it. So if we're talking about just the platforms giving us money, YouTube will continue to be the best. However, I truly think for YouTube to rival TikTok, they have to be able to find a way to allow copyrighted materials to be used for shorts to make money. Because you can do that on Facebook. You can do that on TikTok. But I can't take that exact same audio clip or sound, whatever that I'm using for video, even if it's just a background sound. I can't take that same video or make it, repurpose it onto YouTube Shorts and get paid off of that short. So I think until they can fix that problem, it's going to be a limitation from a shorts perspective.
That's going to be a very hard thing for YouTube to address because they already have such a deep relationship with YouTube Music and such a profitable relationship.
Yeah, and I don't know how they could do this, but until they can, it's always, I think, going to be a struggle. But
I just put this tweet on screen because I thought it was really interesting from Linus Tech Tips about their distribution of income. In that, I think many of the creators who are watching this live stream and many creators who start on YouTube, they have this one goal of 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 hours of watch time to start getting AdSense. But just how little it contributes to a channel if that channel treats it as a business. I'm astonished by the amount of money they make on merchandising, actually. I thought they would make much more on brand deals and sponsorships, but I guess Linus Tech Tips are really good at that certain thing. Just like I think with the monetization of video on the internet, I think YouTube are going to figure out the same thing for short form content. And I kind of envisage this future whereby video content becomes more interactive, whereby you're maybe talking about a particular product and you can almost tap on the product on screen and it takes you directly to a link where you can purchase that. I'm not saying that's something that's going to happen this year, but I feel as if that's the next generation of integrated monetization opportunities for creators, and I feel as if YouTube's going to be the first to do that because they've kind of hinted at that first. They've had these shelves underneath videos about buying products. But I think if you can literally tap on something and it shows you the product on screen to buy, that just reduces so much friction in the purchase process.
When you can, Facebook's working on this with live streaming. They're
Yeah,
trying to make live shopping videos. And I think if like they kind of crack the code before YouTube does, YouTube's just going to go to it, study it, and find a way to integrate it in to what they're doing, because that's to be hugely successful. And you know, it's easy from a product perspective. Like, ooh, that person's wearing merch, I want to click and buy it. Like that's really cool, especially when you're doing like product review videos and things like that. You could. What I'm looking forward to seeing is like how the integration could work with like service-based businesses, you know, again, because that's my world.
Yeah.
Like, how could someone sign up to work with me from that video? Would it be the same kind of a principle? Like, if I say, hey, if you need help with your social media management, like, give me a call, and they can just like click a thing that's like book a consultation with me, kind of a thing. I think that will be good as long as there's a way to make it universal for everybody. Because a big like, while entertainment is the leading use of YouTube, there's a massive part of YouTube that is based on how-tos and connecting and helping resource-based or service-based businesses find success. So, but if we want to talk about monetization outside of the platform, like that's, I think, a hugely like so much potential within that. I find it so interesting how everyone gets on. A lot of people start on YouTube like because they think YouTube is going to pay them a ton of money, and like every YouTube creator that you talk to, for the most part, they're like, "That's my lowest income stream."
Yeah, well, evidenced by that tweet that Rob just put out. I mean, AdSense making up such a small percentage of the full revenue.
I was going to say that. Do you not think that the problem still is a little bit that when something is automatically being put in your bank account, like AdSense, you don't have to do anything really. You click a couple of buttons, you agree to terms of service, and it's like passive income. I think we're agreeing in this that the YouTube needs to try and implement more integrated ways. Like, as you said, Desiree, you almost click on your head and it opens up a calendar link to book a call. Or the affiliate link is directly, it's kind of tracking along the screen and you click on it and you buy it. That's, I feel as if that's where you can reduce the effort, because I'm a terrible marketer. Like, I didn't do affiliate links. I didn't like sell products and services. vidIQ basically bought my soul and made it very easy for me to make an income. And I was talking to Heather about this, and she was saying, you know, that although that you're talking about that in kind of a negative way, Rob, you know, that's what YouTube allows people to do. It takes your skills and you're allowed to leverage them on YouTube. And so that's how I've done it. But other people have to create businesses or get, you know, business development managers or for example, use somebody like Desiree who knows how to connect, I guess, YouTube to their clients. So is there a potential to reduce friction there? Not necessarily putting you out of a job in the meantime, Desiree.
Oh, no, you're fine. I think that one of the things, like where we are, I think, is YouTube, and as YouTube is from a creator standpoint, you're always going to have the people that like see YouTubers and like, I want to be a YouTuber. And then you're going to have the reluctant bunch, which is usually who I work with. They're like, I need a way to get people to find my business and work with me. I need something that can kind of keep working for me while I also have ads going. I need to create something I can use for my email marketing, or I can use part of Google My Business, or if I need to create a blog for my website and it can keep working for me for the next 2 to 3 years. That's the kind of stuff like I think that these are like the two sides that we have with how YouTube will work. The first people, they want YouTube to be their business. They want it to replace their life, their income, and be what they do to move forward. This other side wants YouTube to support their business. So they're not doing it hoping to make money. Do I talk about it? Yeah, but they're like, no, I'm really doing this because I want leads to my real estate business. I want leads to my web development business. I want leads to my new app that I'm using to do these different things. And so it's kind of one of the things, how you reduce the friction, first and foremost, is to accept our robot overlords of YouTube as a part of your integration, first and foremost. That's the biggest piece of resistance. I just spoke at a conference in Texas to 700 insurance agents who just service people who live in Texas. And probably the room was split like 70-30. 70% of them were older people. When I talked about YouTube, I talked about Facebook, they looked at me like I was growing heads, because they're like, I don't want to do that. I like what I've been doing, which is I'm going to just go to a networking group and I'm going to make cold calls to people and I'm going to put ads in the paper and buy a billboard. And I'm like, really?
No.
This year in 2022? And they were like, yeah. And then I would talk to this 30%. And these were the kids that were like, we're new to business. We're part of this agency with older people. And we are fighting because they're on their way out. And I'm trying to build something new for myself with these people with all these new people coming into Texas, because so many people are moving. So many people are coming to Texas for so many different reasons. And there's so much going on and so much happening. Like, we want to be able to capitalize on it. And they're like, well, we don't know what to do because they're stopping us. It's like that path of resistance that I see from my perspective, because of what I do for my work, is a big issue. It's like, so to minimize resistance, it's about accepting that YouTube is a part of society and culture. And it's how we choose to consume content, whether it's entertaining or educational, and like letting that be a part of it. Do you need to be all consuming? Does it need to be something that you do all day, all the time, like the four of us do? Absolutely not. But you can't understand how it works. From a monetary perspective, it's really about, okay, once you're doing this, how you can simplify the process is by building a killer community that counts on you for everything. And so when you sell something to them, when buying something from you just makes sense, like what Emily has done with the Law Nerds, like they're just like, well, of course we're going to be a part of what she's doing. Of course we're going to be a part of her membership. Like, why wouldn't we be? Like, we want her to keep having money so that she can just do this all the time and be available for us. We're paying her for her time, essentially, so she doesn't have to go back to being a lawyer. So it's like kind of the idea of building a great community reduces friction as well.
Yeah, community is absolutely key. Sorry that I got yeeted. I have my phone on Do Not Disturb. It still rang, and then it like knocked me off of everything. It was just crazy. But then I got to move my chair, so it was all good. But it's so interesting on YouTube, seeing people that are so resistant to YouTube, because I spend so much time there, and most of my audience, that's where they watch all their content. And particularly, I think we're starting, hopefully we move into like a post COVID-19 world. And as we move into that, a lot of people got rid of Hulu and Netflix and HBO and whatever, and just relied on YouTube. And that's such an important thing to remember. And especially for people that are like moving, the conference you spoke at, Desiree, YouTube's the first place I went when we were looking at moving out of state.
Right?
Very first place that I went. And it's the first place I go now for most things. But I realized that an older generation, they don't go to YouTube first. They look for like, oh, why don't I still have my yellow pages? It's like, oh my God, just go on like Google Maps or Apple Maps and type in what you're looking for, and it's the same. So it's interesting, that shift.
My family moved from Phoenix to Michigan last year, and we made the entire decision based on research that we Googled and YouTube to make sure that we were picking the right place to live for long-term benefits, because we were studying science and agriculture and and profits and how the state was doing economically and how people were moving and where they were going. Like, not being able to research and I don't know how people do anything anymore. I remember once upon a time, way back in the early 2000s, late 1990s, when I was in high school, we were not allowed to use the internet to do research for things.
Yes.
And now the idea of going to open a book to do that is just the most frustrating thing. If anyone in here is in college, let me know. Do you still have to buy textbooks? Like, is that a thing you have to do still?
Some do, because I see the comments from the law students too, because I talk about the fact that legal research has changed, because now you don't have to go to the law library. It's all on these massive databases that allows, like, if I was going to practice in a more traditional way and not just consult, I could have an entire, $50,000 law library at my fingertips for a, small monthly cost. And so the internet has changed everything, and it changes the way we consume content, but it also changes the way we get to have careers, because we get to do this.
We had a snow day today in Michigan, because it still snows, and it's like that crazy Narnia level snow outside. And I told we slept in and we made pancakes with our kids and we're hanging out. And I was like, how cool is it that I can just do this? Like, because they've created this digital business where I got to work at 10 versus like 8 and I usually start or whatever. Like, I can just choose to do this. I can be there for my family and my kids and hang out, enjoy things. Like, that's what this does for us. Like, I think becoming a YouTuber and using YouTube as a part of your business, it gives you so much more freedom and control in a way that you never like had it before.
Yeah. And I agree with you.
That's explained.
The generational gap right there. I was like, so let's do a voting poll. Have you heard of the Yellow Pages? And then when people said yes. Emily, I wanted to ask you a question. I would say that you are most in the trenches of earning money directly from YouTube amongst the four of us. So briefly-ish, what do you think YouTube does well in terms of monetization for creators, and what do they need to do better?
I find it to be fairly transparent. But I don't always know why one video has an RPM of this and another video has an RPM of that. I can't always correlate it to my viewing audience or the statistics of the video. Like, I don't understand how that decision gets made. I'm starting to see the patterns of how things go month over month, like the buying patterns of advertisers. I know where I want to be in monthly views so that my income stays fairly consistent. I also like that I can choose where ads go. I don't love that I can't opt out of things. So I was talking about a homicide case that's still under investigation with a Bumble date. And I got a whole bunch of ads saying, well, I'm getting Bumble ads on this video. That seems, and flaming me for it. Like, it seems insensitive. I'm like, Bumble's not putting ads. I'm not doing that. Like, that's, YouTube's doing that for you, possibly because you've been looking or searching Bumble because of this case. And so now ads are getting served to you about Bumble, but I have no control over that other than to turn ads off of a video. And even if I choose to turn ads off of a video, YouTube might turn ads onto the video. So I can't even say, look, this is a sensitive topic. I might not want to monetize it. And so if I'm choosing not to monetize it, I will still get comments saying, well, I'm seeing ads on this. So there's no real way to communicate to YouTube that I'm choosing not to monetize it for a particular reason or a purpose. Please also don't stick your ads on it, because I have no control over that. I also don't have control over what type of ads are shown. So it can sometimes seem maybe ill-fated to have those types of ads, depending on what the thing is, show up in a video. And that's very interesting. But I also keep reminding people that's based on your search history and you as a user, not based on me. I'm not choosing to place those there. So I don't think there's great audience understanding of how that works all the time. And there's no way for me to communicate that to YouTube. And that can be frustrating as a creator when you can't communicate back information. So I try to educate my audience and say, if there's a video I'm demonetizing due to subject nature, I will tell them I am choosing to demonetize this video due to subject nature, but YouTube might still place ads on it. So don't tweet at me that I'm a monster for monetizing this. And also, I think there's an interesting gap with the audience. Like, a podcast audience is used to ads being on podcasts, and sometimes like 3 ad reads back to back, broken up every like half hour in a longer podcast. But if a creator did that on YouTube, they would get completely chewed out on Twitter about like, how do you have so many, sponsors in your video, blah, blah, blah. So I think there's some education that's still happening with the audience on YouTube, because they expect so much of it to be free. And they expect not to have a creator have ad sponsors or have sponsors on a video, because I will get comments occasionally. Most of my audience knows, and I think I get a little more grace because I'm a lawyer. And so people expect me to make money off of the things I do, which is different than maybe a beauty creator or just a commentary channel. But I will still get, hey, I pay for YouTube Premium so I can skip ads, and here you are reading an ad. I'm like, well, that's why they pay me to read the ad.
There's like, you're basically paying for YouTube Premium, so YouTube doesn't serve you ads.
Exactly.
Not
so
YouTube.
I don't share things that I love. And so it's just there's some audience expectation gaps that I think are changing, because YouTube is such a free platform. But I've recently looked into and been approached by a few different companies that do like standalone video apps where your audience can pay and just have your app, or it's kind of a different variety of like either a higher level Patreon or really a standalone OTT app that goes on Apple TV and Roku and everything. And you're going to end up paying more in fees to do something like that than YouTube would take in fees. So when people are like, oh, well, I want to go do my own thing, it's like, you can go do your own thing, but you might make as much money if you hit like a critical mass and YouTube is throttling what you can say, but you're still going to pay quite a bit in fees. Because if you have an app, you're going to have App Store fees if people pay per subscription there from the App Store. You're going to have other types of fees. So YouTube being such a free platform, I think there's that gap in audience expectation. That was a very long answer.
I just want to do
things.
A quick shameless plug here. There might be a way, Emily, for you to block certain ads from certain companies. You do it directly through AdSense, but we'll talk about that offline. But if anybody wants to watch that video, I think just search vidIQ block ads.
There's a video on vidIQ. I will. I didn't even know to search for it because I didn't know I could. And I didn't even think about it when I was talking about this particular case. I didn't even think that like Bumble ads would start to show up on it because we were like tangentially talking about it. But I didn't think that, of course, others looking at this case would maybe be searching that, and so they'd get served those ads. I didn't even think about it. But when political ad season comes around again, I'm going to be doing that.
I do want to get to our next subject, but I have a good segue here because we're going to talk about creator tools. And one of the things that YouTube announced last year, but they kind of restated recently in their blog about their priorities, which I have linked down below. They are going to be doing gifted memberships. Among other things, YouTube's always working on new tools, but gifted memberships allow those of us who have a membership program on our YouTube channel. That is not a Patreon. It's specifically tied to your YouTube channel. Soon, people who are watching your live stream, for example, could gift you a membership. You have nothing to do with it. They just look at you and go, hey, this person's here all the time, and I'm going to give them the perks that this creator offers, at least for a month, by gifting them a membership. And this is something that Twitch has had for a long time.
Twitch does, yeah.
Yeah, and YouTube creators have been asking for a feature like this for some time now. So other than that tool, what do we feel in general about the creator tools available to us on YouTube as creators? Rob.
I saw Rob's face. I saw Rob's face.
Because he said something, Dan, and I wanted to ask another question about monetization just before.
I'm sorry. Yeah, go ahead.
So yeah, just before we get onto that, it kind of is a segue. Do you think YouTube is going to get involved in cryptocurrencies, i.e., pay people through Bitcoin and or NFTs through channels or whatnot? Yeah, well, there we are. Yeah, it's already on screen.
Well, I know they're looking for a way to add, because I got asked to be a part of a pilot program that I have not signed an NDA on, but that will allow creators, because I have not participated yet, so I can talk about it. But it's through Google's like Creation Lab, where they are looking at a way to put digital offerings in the creator merch shelf, and that would open up the door to things like NFTs and crypto. Though I think a lot of creators have done crypto in a very scammy and terrible way, and so I think it's going to be hard for good creators to overcome that. But that's always the way in the YouTube space. You've got some that are not great, and you've got some things where it's like audience beware. But then you've got great creators who I think could do great things with it and will normalize it. So yes, I think there will be an option for digital merch in the crypto in the merch shelf. But I think that also opens it up to creators like Desiree. If you want to sell an ebook or if you want to sell a course, that you can put those in the merchandise shelf as well. So I don't think it will just be NFTs and things. I think it will also open up to the educators who sell digital products as well. So
the topic of, because this was one I was going to avoid just because this is kind of like that one of those hot button issues on YouTube right now. But it does still feed into the both conversations right now about creator tools and monetization. This is one more avenue YouTube is exploring. Regardless of what you think of NFTs, I think every company, every big company in this space kind of has their eye on what's going on right now.
Why are NFTs so controversial? Why is there controversy?
If I understood,
diamonds are literally diamonds are chunks of rock, and we have all attributed value to those chunks of rock. And we're like, "Ooh, this chunk of rock is prettier than that chunk of rock." So if you slice it up and polish it and put it on my finger, it has this value. It's a chunk of rock at the end of the day, and that's the same with NFTs. We place value on them. So if you don't place value on them, don't buy them.
Can you Control-C, Control-V a diamond? That's my question.
I think what
it was Command-C, Command-V, whatever it is on the
Mac. Copy paste, but you can't really copy paste NFTs either.
And I think I think that's a great example, Rob, of why people have such a hard time with NFTs. Is that it's a butt of a joke. I think a lot of it just comes down to understanding. It comes down to like what people value and don't value. I mean, when Gary Vee launched his NFTs last year, I mean, they sold out really fast and they were pretty expensive, but you get like this lifelong access to what he has to offer and all these other things that come with it. It's a different way to give value to people. Like that's all that it is. And it's sort of like, and it's subjective beyond measure. Buying art in an art gallery is subjective. Buying something becoming popular because someone's dead or trending is subjective. You know, like to make it more direct, with like when the N95 mask became like the standard for masks, the price of masks that you bought, like the exact same order. I bought this for this dollar amount, and now it's this dollar amount because it tripled in price, because the value of it, the perception, the need for it completely changed. It's just one of those things. I think because people don't understand it, and they don't understand what they'd ever buy or why they would want to do it, they tease it and they joke at it. And then when it comes to ownership of something, I don't think people get the value of owning something. Like, yeah, you can copy and paste it. I can download that shot the ESPN was trying, or the NBA was trying to sell, or whatever. It's like, I have it. Like, no, you have a copy of it. You don't have the original. And I think that that's kind of different. I think people that are not artists, especially, and don't understand like how that part works, really don't get it. And that's why they tease and joke and find it to be irrelevant. And it's like, you know what? If it's not for you, then you don't have to participate.
Don't buy them.
Yeah, don't buy them. Don't participate.
Like
but
the stock
also,
market, you don't have to do it. If you
Yeah,
don't want to do
so-
it, don't do it. I'm telling you what, if like my favorite bands started releasing NFTs of album covers that came with like a VIP access at a show and stuff like that, the amount of money I would spend would make me cringe, and I would never share it publicly because I would be mocked mercilessly. But the amount of money that I would choose to spend, because those are things that have value for me. That's not the same. All of you aren't just like, oh, $1,000 for a ticket to this show. Sure, I'm here for it. Where I'm like, shut up and take my money. I would totally do it.
Yeah, I just dropped like $500 on a Hanson concert. So I mean, yep, I am gonna bop my way through my adolescence at 37 years old, and I am here for it. But I'm like, it's fine. But if they had the same thing, where it's like, okay, you get this one of a kind poster that we do because we're artists, and it comes with every time we come to your city, you get a discount on tickets or a private access or VIP show, I would do it in a heartbeat.
In a heartbeat.
Heartbeat.
Because it has value to me. Yeah. And that's the thing about NFTs. They have to have value to you.
Yes.
The
100%.
bow I want to put on that discussion is the YouTube and Twitch, all of these platforms that we all use now and take for granted, right? Like they had to mature over time. I think that everything going on with NFTs and crypto is the same way. I think it's too new. It's too much of a Wild West. It has to mature, and just like YouTube, people were like, this is weird. This is this new weird thing. People are just uploading videos. Then you had TV shows, people just re-uploading movies and TV shows. They got used for what they were not intended for, and that's kind of what we're seeing now. So who knows? Maybe companies like YouTube jumping into this help it mature to where it needs to be, or it's
and
a
help
fad.
regulate it.
Right.
Help regulate it a little bit to bring some boundaries. And that's the thing, when anything's new, you don't quite have the boundaries. And I am not a like pro heavy regulation person. I'm more of a buyer beware, like caveat emptor, like know what you're getting into. Fraud's illegal, which is where there's like, that's where my boundaries are. Like fraud's bad, but you should also know what you're doing. I think YouTube getting into the space and having some boundaries around this is how creators can offer them in the creator shelf gives a confidence to purchasers like, oh, there's been some sort of vetting process that's happened here through YouTube. So, but that's a lot of responsibility for YouTube to take on, because YouTube and other platforms are starting to skirt that line of, are they still just platforms or are they becoming publishers, and what their legal liability is going to be in, because the digital spaces are changing and are going to continue legally changing over the next few years. So it's a lot to take on, because you have to look at what the platform's potential liability could be if you get a creator like pumping and dumping crypto scams on their platform, or a creator defaming Cardi B on their platform. Where are the boundaries for the platform too? So.
Right. Moving on to creator tools.
Yay.
Rob, what's your favorite creator tool on YouTube?
I don't want to answer that question, Dan. I just want to say that the
I have to be abrupt. I got to get out of
tools
this.
that are available now to creators are incredible. Can anybody remember? Let me ask you all this question. Can anybody remember the old or the classic YouTube studio at this point? Because I remember back in 2018, 2019, 2020, there were growing pains. People hated it. Absolutely hated it. And now it is 100 times better than the classic studio. And because of now Sunset, the classic studio, the mobile studio has gone on leaps and bounds as well. There is so much data there now for creators, and the data never lies, that you're running out of excuses to hold YouTube's algorithm accountable for why your content isn't being shared on YouTube. It's pushed people like ourselves, vidIQ, to go into different avenues and more of a, I guess, AI approach. I think that's good to continue challenging us in the space. I think the next big thing for creators is going to be live streaming. They've talked about that in a couple of State of the Union whatevers. And what I'm envisaging is YouTube buying like StreamYards or what's the other one, Ecamm or whatever, so that it allows an integration to the point where you could literally click on somebody's comment and invite them into the live stream. Now, that comes with a lot of, ooh, that sounds a bit risky and whatever, but I think YouTube will figure it out. And to make live streams even more interactive, because it's still somewhat of a passive experience. You know, we can bring up comments, we can reply to them, but to actually bring up your audience on stage, so to speak, like Clubhouse, I feel as if that's where YouTube should be going next with their live streaming tools.
That's actually been growing in popularity in the commentary side of YouTube for those that are particularly in like the Bravo space, because I'm in a lot of the commentary spaces based on what I cover, where it's almost like a call-in radio show because you can share that StreamYard link and say, hey, you can come in and you can bring people up onto stage and have conversations. I'm seeing that happen quite a lot in the commentary space where they want their audience's opinion to talk about a latest episode. And I think that will continue to grow because the format is really great to really make it a call-in show. I think the caution there is A, people knowing they're going to be on the internet, and B, you don't want somebody to say something on your platform that will then get your video yellowed or demonetized or whatever, but it's something that the creator can control on their back end by just not pulling people up. But I wonder how YouTube will continue to promote live streaming, because I see it in my analytics, a video upload versus a video that's premiered versus a live stream. They perform very differently. And I am a live streamer. My audience is like live streams, but I also can see in my stream how the numbers change as YouTube starts pushing out a stream that's over about 15-20 minutes long. YouTube really does put streams where they are easy to find when you open up your YouTube. If you've watched a streamer, if they're live, you're going to see it first thing when you open up the platform, and that's really cool.
Real quick, when you said like pulling people up on stage could be a risk, I remembered like YouTube has a delay. You could set a delay on your own live stream as long as you want. And you could see them making that part of it. So if someone comes on, you pull them on stage, they just start cussing up a storm, they're doing everything that can control you in the moment, you can kick them off, hit a button, and catch the delay up. So at least that bit of the stream never makes it. I didn't know
you could do that.
That's how TV's done it for a long time, and YouTube has a delay system already. So in theory, you could see them adding that function where it's like skip, you just skip ahead to real time. And it's really rare, but sometimes it's happened in live TV where they've had to use that.
Well, a lot of the delays started in live TV after the Super Bowl Janet Jackson boob incident on live TV. Because of all the cases that came after that, and the FTC being like, y'all have to figure out a way to deal with like live, and then news coverage of car chases that end in wrecks and things like that it's like, oh, this is not what we need on live TV. That all kind of started. I remember it so vividly because I was in law school. So it was a huge topic of conversation about regulation and live television and curse words and the bleep button and the delays in radio too started more after that, or a longer. I think there was a longer delay after that. So I love that you brought that up.
Yeah. I was going to say live streaming, though, when I asked Rob earlier, what's your favorite tool? Because they've just been increasing it in terms of its capabilities. I'm really excited to see where live streaming goes this year.
Me too.
Sorry, Desiree. It looked like you were about to say something.
I feel so lame because like my favorite feature is like I like vidIQ's features.
Hey, right answer.
Like YouTube, what's your favorite vidIQ feature?
Oh my gosh, there's a bunch. My first favorite one is ideas, because sometimes when you're doing like 2 or 3 videos a week and you're like, what do people want to know about? Like, it's hard to track for me because I'm a social media marketer. It's hard to track like what's trending, like what is it that people want to know about. Like it's a little harder to like be topical in that way, versus like I that's why I think like Emily, why your stuff is so fantastically successful is like you respond right away to the crazy things that are happening in the world and all that kind of stuff, and so that's why it's so entertaining and stuff. But for me in social media, it's like another TikTok video, another Instagram. So I love the daily ideas because it allows for me to kind of get some ideas for things to do. I think my second favorite one is definitely the keyword inspector, because how I think I would search for something and how people actually searches for things are two very different like ways.
Yeah.
So I love how I'm able to like see like, okay, this is kind of okay, but this is better. And so I can lean into like what would do better a lot more. And then my third one is just competitors. Again, like as a resource-based channel, I track like Social Media Examiner. I'm tracking like, Vanessa Lau, like, Think Media, like those are kind of people I'm tracking to see like what they're talking about. But oftentimes what they're doing isn't the same thing as like, because a lot of time to track competitors, like what's topical and what's working. But a lot of what we're doing as research, like what's going to work really well in 3 to 6 months, as well as like what we could do really well in the first week. And so it's just nice to get those ideas as well. I guess if I had to say something that like was from a YouTube perspective, I like knowing my traffic sources. I like to be able to know, like, again, for me, like the browse feature is not my friend. The homepage is not my friend, but external and YouTube and Google search make up like 80+% of my traffic, because that's how a resource channel has success. Our return viewership isn't nearly as big. How I tend to get my return viewership is from growing my email list. Like I said, almost 30,000 subscribers and almost 15,000 email subscribers. Like that's my measurement for success. And that's why I have high open rates and I can get boosts in video watch times and stuff. So that, I think it's just, again, it comes down to how are you using it differently, and what is it that matters for you. So like for me, like I'm just grateful for features to be available. Like I can work through the process of uploading it and make sure I go through the checklist that it kind of provides for you to make it really easy not to miss things. Make sure monetization's on, make sure I add in my cars, make sure I add in my end screens. How do I want to schedule post to do this? Like, do I need to make it private? Do I need to make it public? Like I like the custom thumbnails, all that kind of stuff. Being able to do all of that, I think, is really important. And when you add the vidIQ thing in, you can get like the suggestions for other keywords and other stuff that you can do to make it work better. Like I'm such a dork because I don't remember YouTube pre like that. Well, like I've been a YouTuber since 2017. I got into the YouTube assistant space around like 2018. So I can't imagine not having it. Like every new person, like I feel like you should sign up for YouTube and then they should present you with vidIQ. Like here, just do this. I feel like that's like the best way to do that.
Since this is our own live stream and we can shamelessly plug stuff, can we exclusively show you and everybody who wasn't watching yesterday some tool that we're getting really excited about?
Yes.
So can you see here on the if you're uploading a video, and like I'm just going to use business leads as an example for you, Desiree. We're not sure what title we should use, so let's click on this new button.
Oh, thank the Lord Almighty.
Look at that. Some really good suggestions for title ideas, and if you're not happy with them,
that's really cool.
Refresh, and yeah, even more ideas.
That is freaking fantastic.
Yeah,
I
agree.
hate doing titles.
You know how hard it is to make shifting my titles. Yeah, I end up shifting my titles after my live, because sometimes the things I think I'm going to talk about on my live stream, I don't always get to, or something else happens. I was on a live stream the other day and a new appellate court decision came down and the chat was like, ooh, this is happening. I'm like, ooh, let's go pull it up. So there's oftentimes I will end up changing titles after my stream is complete to accurately reflect what my stream was. I can't wait to do this.
Can that be a video you do, Emily? How to get your free Britney?
Yeah, that one didn't quite work, that one.
Yeah, how to get your free Britney. Instagram is where your Britney is the freest these days. Your Britney is unfiltered and unclothed on the Instagrams quite a lot of days.
You know what? If I look that good, I mean, can we blame her?
I don't blame her at all. She's living her best life.
Dan, creator tools. What do you think? And then let's move on to viewer experience.
I mentioned live streams. That's what I'm most excited about. Of course, I'm more in the gaming space when I'm not here doing these live streams, and I'm really excited that they're finally embracing features that they've not quoted, but they've talked to gamers that they've brought in from Twitch and other places. They've given big bags of money to, like, you stream exclusively here now. By the way, what can we do better? They've said they've talked to these creators. They've gotten a lot of inspiration from them. And it's just really cool to see, because the changes they're making, that some think like, oh, well, I'm not a gaming channel, this doesn't impact me. It's like, are you a live streamer? Because all of this transcends gaming. Gaming creators are on the cutting edge. They've been streaming, I think, the most, but that's just now with their experience, we get to all benefit from these changes. So I'm really excited.
So I think it's very interesting seeing if Pokimane, now that she's out of her Twitch contract, starts streaming. I mean, we're seeing these big Twitch streamers letting their contracts expire, and there's a reason that they're doing that. And I think for me, that was one more signal that Twitch has not fixed kind of their culture problem on the platform and has not given some of these tools. I mean, I find with like creators who are, particularly creators that are not like in their 20s, are nervous about what are the comments going to be like, what is this, what is that, you can control so much of that in YouTube. You can control the words that are allowed to show up in comments. You can control links showing up in comments, and it gives a lot of control to the creator to curate the experience you want to have on the platform, and moderators do that too. I mean, these are some of the features that I love the most, because I have control over what my experience is like on the platform by building the community that I want, and by telling them what our expectations are, and by my moderators being able to just remove the trolls. The thing that they added this year that I love the most is for live streaming, subscribers only chat, because it had been members only where people had to pay, and that always made me feel weird. I was like, I don't want you to have to pay to chat. I hate that. But on really particularly difficult topics, they do lean to trolling, and that's not the experience we have in my community. And you can set it to subscribers only, that people have subscribed for a day or people have subscribed for a week, and they can't chat unless they've met that threshold. And it cuts down on your trolling completely. It's been a fantastic feature, and I think it's my favorite part. You can also set it for any duration, just to encourage people to subscribe while you're on stream. So if they've been subscribed for 4 seconds, then they can chat. So building that community where people want to chat can also help bump your subscribers by doing live streams with subscriber only chat. Not to mention the monetization on super chats. Freaking love super chats. Super chats make me feel like I'm at the piano bar, where it's like, I need you to sing this song. Here's $50. Make this happen. And please just, you know, I want to hear Don't Stop Believing. And I'm thinking of that because I'm in Vegas and I'm going to go to the piano bar while I'm here, because it's my favorite thing to do. But it's like that. It's like, I want you to see this comment. I want you to answer it. Here's the money behind it. And I love super chats.
So our next topic is viewer experience. We talked about live streams, talked about shorts, a lot of it from the perspective of creators. How are we feeling about the viewing experience? And one thing I want to bring up real quick, I was alerted to this creator being in our chat right now. They're shorts creator who claims they come here to learn things about YouTube. So thank you for being here. And congrats on well over 1 million subscribers. What I wanted to point to.
Oh, there's that vertical video thing.
Yep. This is why I wanted to bring this up, because this is what I'm getting at with viewer experience. You're not going to hear this, but you can see kind of what I'm talking about. It's like watching shorts on mobile. The viewing experience for shorts on desktop has now gotten better. And if I scroll, there's their next one and their next one. You can like, dislike, comment, and share all from here.
Can you click and then scroll, or is it just you have to scroll?
There's these buttons on the side here, if that's what you mean.
Okay. The one thing I don't like about shorts is if I go to a creator specifically to watch their shorts and I want to watch the next one. I
just wanted to see more about the sus kid, because I think that's my 13-year-old. I got very invested real quick. I was very invested in the editing. I love that.
I wonder, do you have to put your shorts on your homepage? There it is.
That's a good question.
There it is. I'm looking
at
mine.
Do my shorts show up on my homepage? Do I have to put them there? I don't know. I haven't looked, because I've started adding some shorts too, but only because I want to get to things faster than when I do a live stream.
This will be the short. There's a short shelf that you can put on, and I think it's just changed to what it looks like now.
You know, I
haven't. You're going to make me change my homepage on my channel.
As far as I'm aware, if you watch the short from this creator, it's just going to cycle through all of their shorts.
Yeah,
it's not going to be random. What's coming next? Perfect. I can almost guarantee this. Somebody sent me a screenshot of this on Twitter. You know, on the left-hand side where it says Home Explore subscribers, there's going to be a shorts link there, and then that will start.
I think there has to be
curate. You know, like TikTok, it's just going to show you random short form
the way that Reels
do.
Because
viewing,
I see that when I'm in my homepage. When I'm in my homepage, I see the random shorts like across the bottom.
Yeah, I was just pointing that. I have that on mine. Mine's at the bottom. Like I have my normal things I've put in place.
Yeah.
And
I
then-
need to go look.
Interesting. So when you're on the browser too, as you scroll, it creates a new page. So if I'm hitting the back button, I have to hit it a lot of times.
Yep, everyone's a new page. I'm a little bit annoyed by that.
Yeah, that is kind of annoying.
Here's the thing I think about all of this, and
Interesting.
it goes to creator tools as well. I'm going to use this word even though I'm using it incorrectly, but I love saying it. YouTube is doing a lot of insidious things right now. They're introducing little nuanced changes like that short shelf and changes to the creator studio without telling us, and then we're going to go, huh, that's interesting. And before we can even really feedback on it or get used to it, we introduce something else. It's like, now I've got something else to look at.
So
And
iterative changes.
sure, instead of insidious.
Yeah, like
Yeah,
I
these
find
little,
interesting- because you
like
have my-
these small iterative tweaks.
Yeah.
I find it
and-
interesting too that I don't know why some of the shorts aren't fully short. They're like that. Yeah, they're like that. Like why? But it's a short thing.
It
It's very
looks like it
weird.
recorded your screen and then it got
Yep.
confused.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And it's
I
not
wonder
showing.
if I uploaded it. I wonder if I had uploaded those from desktop, and that's why they're doing it that way.
It doesn't
versus
show
my
custom
phone.
thumbnails on these shorts for anybody. And it's just random images from the shorts themselves. But yeah, that's a bit weird, isn't it? That some of them actually show the tools or the
Yep.
something weird's going
I
on with
need
your
to go
show.
look
No,
at
no,
my
no, no. Okay,
channel.
no, Rob. Mine are tutorials on how to do things on the platform, so I have the interface.
I see.
What I'm curious about is like the fourth one over, where it's like not filling
Yeah,
in the
yeah.
whole thing. Like, why is that? Is it doing that because I uploaded it from desktop to it?
I've
Or is it
uploaded desktop
something-
shorts and got it to fit full frame.
Yeah, so
So
it's very interesting.
yeah,
And we're all developing. We're all learning here together live.
it's a new
Yeah,
feature.
I know. I'm
so
gonna go change my front page because I don't have, or I
didn't
haven't
change mine.
added a short.
I
Did you
didn't
add
change
it?
it. Mine
or
was
did
just
they-
there.
Oh, well, go look at Rob. Do my channel. Do they show up there?
I'm looking now.
Do mine. Do mine.
Everybody seems to be getting these changes at a slightly different time as well.
Yeah,
like
not fair.
some people get it weeks in advance, others will
Interesting.
take them ages to get it. And
Yeah, I made a playlist.
Yeah, I have.
You-
But
YouTube
that's my
has-
playlist.
YouTube has one for you, but it takes all your shorts. You gotta use theirs when you're in your.
Okay, I'll go use theirs. I'll go
Customization.
change it out. I'm very excited. All right, cool.
Sorry, we all nerd out about YouTube together, guys. Cool.
That's why we're.
I
here.
love that.
So-
Again, YouTube's changing so fast, and so for me, I'm not a YouTube educator. I am not a YouTube educator. I love talking about what I've learned on YouTube, but I am a long form live streaming content creator. So I learn from these amazing educators just as much as y'all do as a creator, because I'm busy on like what's the next content. Like, Colin and Cuthbert, the caterpillar cakes in the UK, have finally come to a resolution. I need to make a short about that later today. So my brain is on content, not, oh, YouTube now has another bar that I can customize on my homepage, which is why I love coming here, because I don't keep up on that stuff. I need to be told. Like,
So-
hey, this has changed.
For anyone who wants to know how to get that shelf on your homepage, you can move it anywhere you want. So this is our homepage. We don't have shorts on our channel. What you can do though is add a section, and you want to add short videos. If you do a single
I
playlist,
love that.
you can add, like we saw on Emily's channel, a regular looking playlist, but short videos literally takes every single short and puts them, I believe, just in reverse chronological order. So newest to
Here's
oldest.
the best part with that is that when YouTube does it automatically, I don't have to go in and remember to add it to a playlist. And that's what I love.
Right.
The
Right.
playlists, I will say playlists kill on my channel.
Mhm.
And I think that's because of the type of content that I do. But for all of you creators who do content that is related to each other, don't forget your playlists. They can do very, very well. And they can show up in search as well. So
In terms of the viewing experience, it certainly has in the last 12 months been all about YouTube Shorts, putting that button and shelf wherever possible. And I think it's just so that they can start to spout these incredible numbers, about 5 trillion views. True that maybe 4.5 trillion of those are from copyrighted material lifted from TikTok. Hashtag parody. But shorts are here to stay. And I think, as we've said earlier, irrespective of whether you hate them or you like them or you're going to make them, you need to be aware of their impact on YouTube and the average viewer consuming this content. We already know that Desiree spends an hour a night watching short form content.
I do. I'm a problem.
Yeah.
Well,
I
I
like
think
to. I
Rob,
like to
there's a
say I'm
place.
working.
No, you are, because you're watching trends and you
Yeah.
have to. But I
Yeah.
think there's a place in your content for look, my main content is long form live streams. My second kind of batch of content is podcasting. But shorts serve a very specific place for me because I don't do content every single day. But if something happens that my audience wants an update on, shorts allow me to give a very quick update. And YouTube loves it when you continue to give them content. So it keeps your content within the wonderful cycle that is YouTube. If you take a month off and don't upload, you're going to notice the lag in your content getting pushed back out to your subscribers. But shorts allow you to kind of stay there too. So there's a lot of ways you can integrate it, even if it's not your main thing. And I've noticed other channels taking clips of moments of my live streams and making them shorts. And I'm like, oh, I should probably do that. Like if other people are doing that, like I should probably do that. Like Emily gets flabbergasted, Emily screams at things. Like there's like moments in these live streams that you might not see if you don't watch every 2+ hour live stream, which who does? There's some law nerds, there's some of you I know there are that have seen every moment of every live stream, but there's a lot of room to clip down longer content too and continue to share content even though you're not continuing to make new content. And I think that's a great thing.
There should be a Defend Indefensibles clip channel by now. I think we've done enough of them.
It's probably good there's not.
Yeah,
It's probably good that there's not.
It's probably good that
especially
there's
since
not.
all we seem to talk about, what was it, is enforced child labor. That seems to come up quite a lot.
What are you doing right now?
Stop.
Emily's on the run already. Streaming
I
out of a
know.
hotel
I've
room.
run to Vegas. I'm safe. No, it's but you know what, when Desiree was talking about this mobile career, when I got a call from my friend saying, you know what, can you be here for this? I was able to say, yes, I can make that work. And that's, again, when you're looking at some creators are like, I want to have this many subscribers. I want to make this much money. Freedom was a big thing for me because I'd had a career where I didn't have a lot of freedom, and the freedom to be able to, like, you know, my iPad was supposed to work so I could be vertical, but the freedom to be able to hop on my phone, hop on a live stream from hotel Wi-Fi and be here with you all is just why this is such an incredible platform, but why this is also such an incredible career. So it's great. And I'm very excited.
So let's go around the table, talk about real quick the future of YouTube. We're going to start bringing in some questions here soon. But yeah, I think we should wrap this up and talk about what we feel like YouTube, where's it going? Let's start with Desiree.
I think YouTube's not going anywhere. I think YouTube's going to continue to be the leader and going to be the place, and kids are going to want to be YouTubers when they grow up still. I don't think that's going anywhere. Where I'd like YouTube to go, and I don't know if they're doing that because I don't have a direct line, you know, to Susan or anything. I would really like there to be a shift in what is trending. I think it's just a lot of the same stuff and it's getting really boring. I'd love to see more diversity at play. I'd like for like creators on the rise to have a bigger spot platform. Like I wish there was like 10 creators on the rise. You know, I think that'd be great. I'd love for more women, obviously as a Women of YouTube podcast hostess that we're all here together to do. I want more women to have stand out. I want there to be more pay. I want like the next years. I want when they do those top lists of, you know, top earners on YouTube, I want there to be at least 5 women or some diversity within it. Because there was one girl on that list this year of the top 10 and she was a child. So it's just kind of one of those things. Like I'd love for more of that to happen. And I think as it continues to grow and we continue to be loud and annoying and all the things that we are asking for things and anything's culturally as well as from our platforms, I think that we can really get there. But I think that we're just going to continue to grow and do awesome things and make lots of money. And I think that we're going to reach a point where people like us and vidIQ and creators, it's just going to be like, it's going to be normal. No one's going to look at you weird for being a YouTuber. I live in a small town in Michigan. I tell them I'm a YouTuber and they're like, huh? I don't. What? My kids want to do that. How do you, I'm like, and it really blows me when I tell them like I'm the breadwinner. I'm like, this is I bought a house on YouTube income. And they're like, huh? So I'm looking forward to, I think that's where it's going. I think it's going to be awesome.
Emily, the future of YouTube.
I think that the future of not just YouTube, but social media, I think we are coming into some more regulation. So I think that there will be a kind of a separation of creators who are professional creators and a continued separation, and creators who are either flash in the pan or who don't want to follow rules and don't want to be regulated, which will bring up subsequent platforms. You're going to start to see other video platforms that don't have rules and regulations popping up. We're already seeing them because YouTube does throttle certain content. YouTube does push certain content. There is some censorship on platform, though YouTube's a private company, they're allowed to. But I think that censorship puts YouTube in the crosshairs for being regulated more heavily by the government as to whether they can be sued or not sued. So there is, from my perspective, because lawyer perspective, there is a lot to come in the social media space. And there are these bigger questions of, are these public utilities where people have recourse if they're denied access, or are these private companies that are publishers? So I think YouTube's not going anywhere. I think the way that we behave on platform will have some more rules around it. And I think creators just need to be aware that as things change, you can't just be like, hey man, Nintendo copyright claimed a whole bunch of my content. Well, was it fair use or was it not? You're going to have to be aware that it's not just the Wild West anymore because it's the internet. And that is one of the changes creators will have to deal with, because YouTube will have to deal with it. Just like they did when YouTube finally realized that they were going to have to adhere to the Children's Online Privacy Protection Act. YouTube, that act existed before YouTube did. Yeah. YouTube started and they were like, it won't be a problem. And then the FTC was like, it's a problem, pay us hundreds of millions of dollars. And then YouTube went, oh, this is a problem. And then there were creators going, why are you doing this to me? It's like, well, you always had to follow the rules. As a creator, you have to adhere to the rules, even if the platform's not. So I think we're going to see more of that. But creators, just be mindful and stay on top of channels like vidIQ, because as the platforms change, you will be advised of those changes. Not paying attention is not going to be an excuse.
Mm-hmm. Rob, what is the future of YouTube?
Emily has just stolen all of my best points and articulated them better than I ever could. But I will try my best. Yes, YouTube is not going anywhere. I think it's still one of the best opportunities to take your passion and express it on a platform for free and reach billions of people in an instant almost. Having said all of that, I think there may be an inflection point coming, which is what Emily alluded to. And let me try and give you an example of this. Just imagine, for example, a lot of us feel as if Mr. Beast Squid Game was like one of the best YouTube videos, so to speak. But what if Netflix and the owners of all of this intellectual property decided that we don't want this on YouTube, and we're going to hit Mr. Beast with a copyright strike, and their channel is going to get taken down, and that would cause enormous creator outcry. So if that something like that had turned south, and I feel as if something like that is going to happen on YouTube within the next 2 or 3 years, in the same way as Adpocalypse has done so in the past. And I think there's going to be an inflection point there where creators decide, do I want to be on YouTube anymore? Or am I going to be a disruptive force on YouTube? Like January the 6th, we have these truckers in Ottawa right now in the real world challenging governments or the people who run things. I think that's going to happen to YouTube because the identity of YouTube, that word YouTube in itself, does that truly reflect what that is in 2022 and beyond? And as Emily said, I think there's going to be more fringe platforms or alternative platforms appearing. And what is YouTube going to be once it comes through, whatever controversy or challenge that might be? And then, of course, the metaverse. I don't really understand what that is. I know it's coming. People are going to be wearing headsets and VRing in the next 5 years. YouTube
have you not seen Ready Player One? Go watch Ready Player One.
I have really enjoyed the book. Wasn't
the book's
that
better.
The film?
Oh, the movie's awful. The book is substantially better.
The book,
I agree.
the audio book is a great listen. Will Wheaton, Wheaton for life.
Okay, just as we're talking about Will Wheaton, though, throughout both Ready Player One and Ready Player Two, when he reads the book, he pronounces IRL as Earl, and it makes me crazy. And every time I listen to the audiobook, I'm like, no, it's IRL in real life, not Earl. Damn it!
It makes me want to say, "Shut up, Wesley."
For more thoughts on either Ready Player One or the future of YouTube, we'll turn to Nate from Channel Makers.
Oh, wow. Hello.
Hey, you made it.
Hello.
So I publicly apologize. Everybody, check your time zones because I was all ready. I was like, "Yep, yeah, I'm geared up. And then I got a message from Dan, 40 minutes ago, and he's like, "Hey, are you joining?" I was like, "Dang it, I missed." So I apologize for being late.
All
Time
good.
zones are the worst.
First
and I
of all,
screw them up always.
speech.
Yay!
Hey, yeah. Well, actually, you see this behind me? This was my friends surprised me. I cleaned up somewhat. This congrats here. My friends
Nice.
surprised me. I just barely this morning took it out. There were streamers everywhere and balloons and all this stuff. It was pretty fun. So yeah, I don't know what kind of speech. It's just great. Glad to be here. Glad to see the channel growing. Yeah, I don't know what else to say about it. Except you all wish you had an awesome balloon congrats behind you for your videos.
We don't
I
know what
do.
to do with milestones. We just
jealous.
have our gold play button shoved in Rob's shelf,
Yeah,
just crudely.
still don't know
Yeah,
where to
I've
put
seen it. Isn't it sideways in there?
It's
Yeah.
sideways.
Still
You need to cut that part off and put it up.
Cut the play button? Like,
No. The
Oh.
shelf.
I
You
think
like
it's
it-
kind of epic that it's sideways.
yeah. I think it's it's just part
Or
of
you
furniture
hang
now.
it like you hung the Captain America shield.
yeah.
There you
Oh,
go.
Try that. Do not try that with play buttons because the fabric does not stick to anything. I nearly broke mine doing that.
Oh,
Oh,
that
well, that's good to know.
Okay, well that's good to know.
Trade secrets, YouTube, first world YouTube problems right there. So I think what we should do, Dan, is let Nate have a minute on each topic just to summarize his thoughts.
Yeah,
Great.
for all of those that are just joining the live stream now.
Here's a summary.
Nate's answers. Go.
Yes. Is YouTube still the place to be in 2022? Yeah, absolutely.
Perfect.
I don't know what else to say there. It's still growing. There's everything good about it. I'm very positive on the future of YouTube. So
Is it the best platform to make money?
I actually personally think so. Also, I don't have firsthand experience in all of the platforms, but when I look at all the variety of options available with other social platforms, for example, it's nowhere do you have the level of the advantage of the ongoing library of content, as well as just people getting to know you, like you, and trust you better on YouTube potentially than a lot of other platforms. And when you make a piece of content, it stays, and so it can be constantly viewed by people. It's not a one and done and it's gone forever. I love both of those aspects of YouTube.
How are you enjoying the evolution of the tools creators have been given over the years?
Are you referring to things like
Anything.
Like
It could be
YouTube
memberships.
Studio?
It could be the studio. Your favorite tools. What you like, what you don't like. What's missing.
I feel like they're being helpful, and they're all headed, to my knowledge, many of them are headed in the right direction. I've been appreciating how, like in analytics, for example, they've been getting more and more transparent and giving us more and more metrics to look at to understand the channel better, just using more real human language to describe things. That's been really cool.
We
And
spent a
also
lot
there's this there's this tool called vidIQ that keeps upgrading itself and adding great new features and stuff. So highly recommend it.
Thank you for that. We talked a little bit about the viewing experience as well, just a few different aspects of that. Like one of the things they've been doing is making shorts easier to view on desktop. Like, how do you feel like the experience? How do you feel like the experience
I'm
for?
trying to give him his money.
Oh, is that my? I'll take it. Oh, it's over on this side.
Yeah, okay.
Here we go.
All right.
I don't have any money in here. Get some money here.
No, it's all NFTs now, is it?
Well, all right. So viewing experience, they've had. I mean, you and I have talked about a few things. They're always testing new stuff. Some get me a little bit more potentially concerned than others. The one of the, I know it's not public knowledge, but I know they're beta testing it. The one where on the play bar, like on desktop, you see the gray area of how much people watched attention on different areas of the video. I wasn't so much a fan of that, just because I think it will actually be detrimental to viewer experience, and they haven't rolled it out publicly, so I'm glad they're not doing that one. But as far as the march forward of ways for people to find what they're looking for and improving the algorithm day in and day out, I think they're headed in the right direction for that.
And speaking of headed in the right direction, the future of YouTube, where do you see YouTube this year and beyond?
So YouTube Shorts was one of their more recent big new directions, I would say, new formats that definitely took off. I think it's probably doing exactly what they hoped it would. And I see it, the user base is just growing. And so it's potentially just similar to what has been going, always improving the algorithm, more creators getting on there. And as new trends come out in different formats for consuming video, I think they're either going to lead them out or adopt them very quickly.
Cool.
What about you? What about you, Dan? I don't think we got your thoughts, did we?
Future of YouTube. I agree with everything everybody has said thus far, and I also think that you. Who said good?
I thought that's all that you were going to say. And
no, I also wanted to say that I think YouTube is going to. This is just a bold prediction. I think YouTube is the one that cracks monetization for short form content. I think Instagram, I think TikTok, they're trying to figure this out. I think YouTube is the one that figures it out first, at least the best version of it, the rightest way.
I like that.
That's my prediction.
Yeah.
Well, there we go. That's our discussion. So we want to talk to you guys now. If you have a question, #question in chat. They may become topics of very long discussions. So I don't know how many of these questions we'll actually get to, but that's okay. And thank you.
It was a good question if it prompts a whole bunch of conversation.
I like this one. The #channel makers, #Nate Squad. It's the first time I've seen that. Thank you, Goose Plays 20.
You know, you've made it when you're a hashtag.
Yeah. I didn't know I was a hashtag. That's awesome.
Wouldn't your hashtag be howdy howdy? Really?
You know what? We should take that hashtag, shouldn't we?
We're supposed to call everybody vidiots. That was Emily's suggestion of our
vidiots.
Yeah.
Well, it came from the chat. You've got to let the community name itself.
Yeah.
Yep. That's how Law Nerds came about. They named it themselves. I just liked vidiots because I thought it was funny, but I also watch a lot of Observe. So
now everyone's going to be using it. It's going to have to be a thing.
Well, if they want it to be a thing, they'll make it a thing.
I think
that's a better one.
Yeah, the hashtag thing has been a bit confusing for folks.
Robin.
It was supposed to be #question, but hashtag comment is going to work as well.
Here we go. We'll start with Memeverse. Are meme channels monetizable? I wonder if they're speaking from
that's a good one.
Yeah, fair use perspective. Who wants to fight over this one?
It's a question for our lawyer.
Well, it depends on if the memes are original creations or re-uploads or parody. There's a lot of copyright to wade through with memes, so it is not the safest path to monetization by any means. And it just depends on, like, I don't know. What are meme channels on YouTube? I don't watch meme channels. Like, are they just memes? Is there other stuff? Like, what? Is it long form? Is it short form? I have questions. Somebody explain. I'm old. I'm boomering it. Just explain to me.
They can span, I think, a lot of different types. So there are people who just make their own, and then there are people who re-upload stuff, and there are memes that get done to death in different, from different creators in different ways. And it's hard to remember who has ownership of even some of the memes we've seen of The Office, like NBC at this point. Yeah, like NBC at this point is probably just given up on all of that. Like, well, everyone's taken our show and just memed the crap out of it, and we're not going to touch it.
Because normally it would fall under fair use, transformative use, or parody.
Yeah.
But
can you monetize
that can be harder. That can be harder to, yes, generally, but it depends on how it's done. So it just depends. Because generally you would need, if you were going to do it on another TV show, you would need licensing for it. So it really just depends. And it depends as the future of copyright continues to evolve. And I think blockchain is going to start getting involved in copyright. This could be harder because I've seen a big push in the intellectual property space to start blockchaining copyrighted and trademarked properties. So they're easier to trace when they get, shot out across the metaverse, as it were. So YouTube, I think, allows meme channels to be monetized, but you could run into roadblocks with, copyright strikes and things like that. I mean, I got the most annoying copyright claim on my channel, and the copyright claim was a copyright claim from a third party that claimed a clip of a TV show that I used because I was advertising for that TV show as contracted with that company. And so their third party striked my video. I'm like, wait a second, you've asked me to use this clip. I have permission to use this clip. But those are the problems within the system. Like the system swoops things in, and then it doesn't account for the fact that I actually have license to use that because it is an ad on my channel that I have been contracted to do using those video clips. So these are problems.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Request here for Nate. Can you roast Goose Play's channel?
Yeah, I was just looking at it. I don't know if how in depth you want me to go here.
I can start. Why are you frauding your viewers with a fake verification checkmark on your username?
Oh,
That's a good point.
that's a good point.
That was the first thing that caught my eye as well.
Yeah, I actually didn't
Charlatan.
even see that. I think a lot of times that type of thing is used to try to appear a certain way with the channel, and I think that's the direction you're going there. I'm all about the organic subscribers, and using something like a check mark is probably not the right direction to go. First thing that stands out to me, see, when I do roasts, I often try to take a little more time to look into it. But this one that stands out to me, you're all over the place, man, or ma'am, or you're all over the place.
Human
person, right? So both the thumbnails and the types of videos you're going for, way all over the place. So we need to pick a few narrower directions to go with this.
Also, if you're going to upload vidIQ clips, can you make sure that I'm in them? Because I'm not in that one.
No, it's okay. I'm there.
Quite
We're
offended.
good. I like it.
Yeah, a couple of us are in here, so yeah, I'm not worried about it. No, we won't be doing a full channel audit. We're not doing channel roasts either. But yes, for tip for everybody, I guess Nate, what you
Nate's
said
being
is,
nice. Roasting is being mean. Like
Yeah.
thumbnails are terrible. What the hell's wrong with your titles? What's happening with your thumbnail?
and
Or
all
your
that's
header?
all that's true. All that's true. But I think everybody should be taking notes alongside and looking at their own channel and roasting it for themselves.
Goose Plays 20 fake verification checkmark. Your channel sucks. Clip that if you want to.
Ouch! I'm really sorry about that,
Needs
Goose.
improvement.
So having both long and short form content on the same channel, detrimental or a good idea?
My answer to this is, if you're asking that question, it means you're not sure about shorts and long form content. So do the safe thing and test on a separate channel to begin with.
Mm-hmm. To me, this is always sorry, Desiree.
I have my own thoughts. I think that if the shorts content can support your existing content, it's totally, I think, fine to do. I do shorts relevant to my content, so I have again, I'm very search based with my strategy. So a lot of like my tutorials are quick. It's like how to disconnect my Instagram account from Facebook. Like that doesn't need to be a full intro, outro. Like it's just a quick, easy answer. So I can make it for search and for shorts. And so it works really well. And I think that if it's an extension of your existing content, it works. Should you have a 2-hour podcast show and a shorts on there? Probably not. So that's been my success because my shorts have a growth chart because they're search based.
Yeah. I was going to say, I think for a lot of channels, you do both.
Yeah.
Well, it's relevant to my content and it's relevant to my audience. So I have essentially 2-hour plus long form content. I do shorter content in the 45-minute range, and I do some shorts because they are topically relevant and it is a quick answer to something that my audience is interested in. So I have not seen it be detrimental to my channel, but you need to experiment and it needs to be on topic for your audience. It can't be a dancing repurposed shorts channel on a video tutorial channel. That doesn't make sense. It has to be a strategy to relate it back to your audience, because the purpose should be giving your audience what they want, what they need, what they're looking for. So
Yeah, I've always said this is a very personal question too, especially if your content that you want to make in shorts is relevant to your main channel audience. You can still put those on a second channel if that's what you want, if you're that worried about it, like Rob said. It's a really personal choice in that regard. But if you have taste in your name, so I imagine you might be a cooking channel, and if you suddenly want to work on cars, I wouldn't put that content, shorts or otherwise, on the same cooking channel.
I've seen shorts be the most successful by putting them on the same channel with a channel that already is good at one or the other.
Yes.
So lead with one or the other. Rarely would I recommend doing both at the same time because they're pretty separate content types. And so you can lead with long form and then add shorts after you feel like you've got a good rhythm with long form, add some shorts, or vice versa. But rarely would I say both at the same time. Just my 2 cents there.
Examples of channels who do this well are Colin and Samir, and am I allowed to say this? Legal.
Does nothing well. I'm sorry, what? I'm teasing. Devin,
Dr.
I'm
Mike does a good
teasing.
job too. Dr. Mike's are really helpful and informative as well.
Mm-hmm.
Can I make videos in English and French in the same channel?
The question, well, can you
Yes.
versus should you?
Yeah.
Can you? Yes. Should you? No. Never.
You should take a cue from what vidIQ does, where they have like their English videos on an English channel, and they have like the Spanish channel as a totally separate thing.
Yeah, because you don't want to split your audience. The audience that is coming
Yep.
to your English videos is not the audience coming to your French videos. I mean, I know that you're probably targeting Canadians, but still.
Mhm.
Put
You don't-
one
There are
language on one
people
channel.
too, Emily.
They're Canadians. No, I love Canada. They get the better Cadbury chocolate than we get in the States.
Look at it from a viewer's point of view. Let's say you watch 4 videos in English. Great, I'm getting invested in this channel. Then you do 2 videos in French. I don't speak French. I'm going to have to wait an unknown period of time before you put on another English video. That means that when the video appears in the homepage with a French title, I'm not going to click on it. That's going to send a non-clicked impression to YouTube. So definitely with languages. I mean, YouTube did test these different languages on videos so that you could switch, but I still feel having your own channel page and titles and whatnot, like siloed into different countries, seems to be the more logical approach, both from a creator and a viewer point of view. But of course, it does mean a lot more work because you need somebody who needs to manage that page effectively.
Are there other metrics besides average view duration that go into the success of a YouTube short?
I suspect likes are more important as a signal, but that's just an assumption. And I also think, I'm starting to think of views on shorts as actually impressions. They're not like a view doesn't necessarily count as a view, if that makes any sense. It counts as, okay, we need to test this with 1,000 people. So that's why you get the short surge. But we'll use the other metrics to decide whether or not this is a good performing video. And then we'll start to share it with more people.
I agree with that 100%. It's one of the primary differences, I think, between long form, like the algorithm's treatment of shorts versus long form. Because on the short shelf, you're just scrolling through it, right? And as it immediately starts playing, so that is a view. But I think think of it more in terms of an impression.
Because you don't get choice. You have no control over what's coming up next. YouTube decides that. And so I think the more positive signals beyond views. You see, what I really want to try and work out from the algorithm is when you start watching a random bunch of shorts, not your short, but the viewer's already watched one of your previous shorts. This is getting really complicated. But where do I come next? Am I number 2 in the queue or number 4 in the queue? And I think the higher up you can get in the queue for the next video that's played, that's the real value in terms of discoverability. You're all nodding, but I don't think anybody had a clue what I was talking about there.
I just want you to feel good.
You are
okay.
you are deeper
I
into
did.
the analytics of what does and doesn't work, I think, than many of us. I think Emily and I are like, ooh, this is good. Let's post it and then see how many views it gets.
Publish.
I mean, my content decisions are informed by analytics, but not made by analytics because my channel is so reactive to the things that are happening, and I have no control over the thing. You know, if a lawyer wants to dismiss a case against Erica Girardi and refile it in California, I just happen to be on a plane when this stuff happens. I have no control over when it happens or not. So it's a joke for the law nerds. Anyway, keep going. Y'all are like, what?
Let's just
I'm
all
like,
nod.
the
Not
law
all
nerds.
nod.
I got it. Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
Good on.
Every time I've been on a plane lately, something massive has happened in one of the top kind of cases I'm covering, and this time was no exception.
Well, it sounds like you just need to go on a plane whenever you need new content.
Content, exactly.
Yeah.
I'm just going to travel and stuff will
Just
go
have
by.
Just travel and
A
you're good.
Learjet parked on the driveway and just get in it and something happens.
That's a free vidIQ tip for everybody. Right there.
Hey, there you go.
Find what superstition works and just lean into it.
Yep,
Right.
it's official advice. When I look at my channel analytics, it says not enough data. How much is required to show data?
I think the threshold is going to be around about monetization point. So 1,000 hours, 4,000 hours of watch time. But I also think it's a recency of content, how much you're publishing in the last 90 days. Because I've got my old channel, which doesn't show that information, but I've not published anything for 4 years. And when I, in a video about like how to get to 10,000 subscribers, I said to people like, by now you should have that data about the best time to publish and like what other videos your viewers are watching. And somebody said, I haven't got that. And I've got like, 5,000 subscribers. And I thought, oh, that's a bit unfortunate. And so I said, well, send a message to YouTube support and maybe ask them why. And as soon as I said that, I thought, you're not going to get a very good answer from them. So why did I suggest that as an idea? But there are no solid answers, but that's my guess around about monetization point.
What do you all have? Wait, sorry. What do you use to have? Sorry, this is really. What are we using to get the transitions on the screen?
StreamYard.
StreamYard. Okay.
StreamYard, the best live streaming
StreamYard.
platform in the world.
Love StreamYard.
Is that a hashtag sponsored message, Desiree? I believe.
Hashtag
Yes.
partner, but yes.
Hashtag partner. I love Stream. I've used StreamYard since I switched to live streaming because it was the easiest. I didn't want to mess with OBS. I wanted to be able to pull up questions on the screen just like this. And when I was looking at being able to bring up legal documents on the screen to do the same thing, StreamYard came up, and it's what everyone that I watched was already using. I was like, oh, what are you all using? And everybody's like, StreamYard. I was like, great, done. And it's web-based. It's easy. Yeah, I use it. It's
I've been using StreamYard since beta. So like before it was like a big public deal. The tool's great. And what makes it even better is that the company and the owners are really wonderful. Like they truly have built a tool based on feedback that they've gotten from their users of things that they want. And so like that alone is the reason that I have stuck with them all this time, because it's incredibly easy to use and they care about you as a user.
The incremental improvements have been really good as well. Like Dan and I were talking about stacking questions for a while, and pop, it just suddenly appeared. And now we also have, everybody get ready for this,
background music.
You can add videos, overlays, backgrounds can change, photos, GIFs, everything.
Yep, I've
it's running.
yes. That leave it running. It's great. It's a vibe. I love it. I love it, and it's made it easier. And making it easier is what you need as a content creator. I've also been on live chat with them when I've had streaming issues while I've been streaming, and they've fixed it. It's been great.
So do you think YouTube are gonna purchase one of these services to integrate into their software? That's what I think they're gonna do in order to up their live stream game.
They might, and the only reason I would hope that they would do that is because there are some things that like StreamYard can't get because of the way YouTube has it blocked on their end. Like if you have a members can send what look like super chats, but StreamYard can't grab them to put them up on the stream because of the way YouTube has them coded. So it would give like a more fluid integration. That's the only reason I would hope for something like that. Because when I see YouTube buy things and implement them, they don't tend to nerf them. So that's the only reason I would be happy about that.
I'd be happy that YouTube would give it dark mode, and I'd be happy about that.
I think it's interesting, the idea of, at least from a StreamYard perspective, because Hopin owns StreamYard. So this time last year, Hopin, which is an online event platform, had purchased StreamYard to integrate it into their company. So it'd be an interesting acquisition. Like a reacquisition.
This next question, I have definitely something to say about it, and I think we all will. So at this point, I would expect my channel to reach at least 1,000 subscribers. Do you guys think it's the name of the channel that's doing the most damage to my channel?
Why do you expect that?
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah,
I'm not even thinking about the name of this channel. I'm hung up on I expected. And the thing I wanted to say yesterday, but I never had time. Our stream yesterday was moving pretty quick. The thing I wanted to say yesterday is YouTube is here first and foremost for the viewer's experience. YouTube is trying to build the very best platform for viewers to keep them on the platform as long as possible. We as creators all have to adapt to that. We as people always say YouTube hates small creators. That's like something that small creators say often when they're not growing. No.
Make better content. You'll get more eyeballs.
Exactly.
Sorry.
Exactly. It has nothing to do with the name of your channel, although a better name can help. It is definitely everything to do with the content you are creating. Is it for a specific audience?
JP800 Studios tells me nothing about what kind of content you create.
Yeah, and I think, Rick, I mean, even when I go to your channel, I have no idea what kind of content you make. Your banner is just branding. Your thumbnails are just you, and I'm like, why do I care about you? What are these videos about? What's going on here? The name of my channel is called All-in-One Social Media. I don't think you're coming to my channel for beauty advice.
I think this is JP800 wanted a roast, but he just had to figure out the way to ask the question in order to get the roast that he wanted. What I will say is, in terms of expectations, you have 80 subscribers. You have like 15 videos. You've made those 15 videos over the course of 10 months. You're getting fantastic view counts for where you are. You're probably exceeding expectation, I would say, on average for a channel of your size with the number of videos you've produced. So as Evan said,
you need more videos.
Make more content. That's
more content.
Where you're going to meet your expectations.
Rob, that was a terrible roast.
Sorry.
Also, I don't know. You've got, and you said it perfectly, Dan. You've got to understand the way YouTube works, and YouTube works because they want to keep people on platform. And if your content keeps people on platform and they're rewatching or they're watching through a playlist, then YouTube's going to be like, oh, when somebody lands on this creator's video, they watch 2 more of that creator's video, and then they go on to watch 3 more of these videos. It is going to make YouTube push your content out more to be like, oh, this content keeps them on platform longer. Make content that keeps people on platform and engages them.
Yep. Oops. Next question here is, how can I best integrate my YouTube channel, podcast, and blog? Same name, already doing audio version of the YouTube videos.
I think Nate has some very strong opinions on podcasts on YouTube. I watched the rebuttal from Pat Flynn, but it was a good video, actually.
That was good. Yeah, he did well in his response also.
It's Pat Flynn.
Yeah, Pat Flynn. Yep.
No, what's the controversy? I have no idea what happened.
Oh,
I
softly called him out for using his YouTube channel as a podcast.
Called him a lot of names. I wouldn't say it was
a lot of that. Oh, it was soft. Come on.
It was censored, right? Wasn't it? Dan? Like mature audience only.
So many bleeps. I just couldn't. I'd never heard.
It was too much.
There's weird dolphin noises that people put in all of the time.
I hate those. Did you also call out the H3H3 podcast?
No. And so in the video, it was basically the point of I would see channels that are going along, creating a channel, creating content. And then somewhere along the way, they just start podcasting with their channel, just uploading podcasts. And almost every time I see that happen, hence the title of the video is I get worried when I see a channel doing this, their views drop off dramatically because a pure podcast is just not a good format for YouTube. Mm-hmm. It's almost never that. So I guess answering this question here, YouTube, a primary YouTube channel, from Christianity explained this question, your primary videos should be for your audience, just like what we've talked about, right? If you want a podcast, I'd almost always recommend doing a separate podcast channel and then make it as visually interesting as possible. If you have recordings of you talking with your guests, still edit the videos, all of that would be good. If you don't have that footage and you just want to do the audio on YouTube, you can do that, but I would still do it on a separate channel. As far as a blog tends to have a very different, I can say this because we have a background in teaching a lot of blogs and stuff. So they have a very different content style usually. Most blogs are very search focused, So people are coming to an article because they're searching for something on Google in the SERP, and they're trying to get an answer from something usually. And on YouTube, you can do that. But in the majority of cases, if you only focus on search, you are missing out on the browse and suggest traffic and some of your most powerful allies if you do it that way. So if I were going about a YouTube channel, a podcast, and a blog, probably how I would structure it is I would do, oh, here we go. He's got the screenshot up there. So YouTube channel, I'd make it for an audience, just like everything we talked about. Watch vidIQ, get great tips on that. Podcast, I would do a separate channel for it, make it as visually interesting as possible. And then blog, as much as possible, make it very search focused, and think of each of them as separate pieces of content, not repeats of the same content. Because unless you slice them up to fit each of the different platforms' needs. That'd be my recommendation.
I had a bonus too. I'd go through your podcast and find how you can take your long form content and make short searchable pieces of content from it. So like if you have a specific topic or question you answer, you go over, you can turn that into its own individual video. So if you have just the podcast channel, you could do that. Or you could, if that specifically is supported by what you're doing on your channel, you could do that as well. For some really good examples for this, I'm gonna call it Samir, but also the Think Media podcast has a good job. And so does Vanessa Lau's podcast about turning your followers into clients podcast. She actually was on the Think Media podcast talking about how by putting her podcast on her regular YouTube channel, it was tanking her channel. She was going on this like random slow death with her channel. So she had to separate them out because the content was different. What people expected was different and how the audience was retaining and watching was different. So by having her informational short videos and then these long podcasts that were deep dives, all these different things, it was killing it. So if you're looking for examples on like what you should do, that's what I would check out those three guys.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm an anomaly. I have my podcast on my YouTube channel, but I do long form content. So for people who like the long form live streams, a 45-minute podcast is the more succinct version of my content. And I do it on video, and it is visually very much the same as my live streams. It is just in a more a shorter and a more concise and cleaned up version. So that content works well together because it is the same content in a slightly different version. So, and that's, I think, why it works well on my channel. So.
There you go.
Yeah.
I think that was a lot of varying opinions there. So best of luck.
As you know, with everything, it depends on your channel, your audience, and your content.
That's
If
what
you
I would.
make-
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's exactly what you were saying. If you make normally 5-minute upload tutorials, 5 to 8 minutes long, and you throw an hour podcast on there, your audience is going to be like, what the hell? So it just really depends on your content, and that's totally fair.
How about
and I
how
feel
you
like
trained your audience?
Go ahead.
It's how you've trained your audience, like what to expect.
Exactly. Yeah. The expectations that they have going into it. If you normally do longer form, I think it's great. I think that's why it's working for you.
That's exact. It's similar content, and that's that matters. But I realize that my content's also fairly unique. Not that it doesn't have to be, but long form is different in this space.
We have a good question here. Do your own views produce more impressions so real people who are not me can see my videos?
Yes, according to this YouTube Todd, I can never remember his surname, or I'm too scared to pronounce it. He did a talk at Vid Summit where he said that something along the lines of, if your video is seen, if 100 people see your video this week, then YouTube will share your content with 700 people the following week, or something along those lines. It's like a 1 in 7 share distribution. And if you look at your own impressions, that kind of matches. For us, it's about 1 in 10. So yeah, when people do watch your content, YouTube is going to then give you a chance in the future by showing that on the suggested feed or the homepage.
See, I read this
it's more
differently.
complicated
I read it as if this creator just rewatches their video a bunch, their own views. I read it as if they keep watching their video. So that's how I read it, as they are watching their own videos.
That's how I read it also.
It's Todd Beaupre.
Thank you.
I know exactly who you're talking. I love Todd's talk. Todd's talk, other than my own, was my favorite Vid Summit talk.
So I guess to answer this question, no. Any attempt to, I guess, manipulate your own metrics is never going to work. It's the same as if you like set up 5 devices with different IP addresses and try and watch YouTube for 3 weeks to get 4,000 hours of watch time. This is all stuff that was tried in 2011, and it didn't work then, and it's not going to work now.
I'd say it's the wrong question.
Yeah,
to be asking. You shouldn't even be thinking that way.
So I was kind of answering the right question, wasn't I?
Yes, you were.
Yeah.
Because you believe in the good of people, Rob. First and foremost.
Yeah, so I would add to that, like, based on if we're taking this right, like, hey, should I watch my own videos and does that show it to future people? Just don't even worry about that. You're focusing on the wrong thing. The focus is more on how do I make good content for a real audience, not artificially inflate my own stuff.
Absolutely. Should I hide my subscribers when I have less than 100 subscribers so people won't know that I'm a very small channel and they'll be reluctant to subscribe?
No, I don't think so.
Me neither.
I don't think so either.
Here's my take. I'm happy to hear other people's takes on this, but as far as hiding subscribers ever on YouTube, I don't think anybody should do it personally. Here's why. YouTube has a reputation for being authentic, authenticity, real people connecting with real people. You talk to the camera, you don't talk most of the times in just a cinematic way. And so for a lot of people, it's a natural behavior to see the number of subscribers. And if you're just okay with that, I only have 100 subscribers. I'm totally cool with that. I'm still creating good content. Guys, I have a small channel, but I'm still making good content. People will appreciate you for that rather than the feeling of trying to hide. I got to hide where I actually am. I would own it. I would just say, yeah, this is where I am with my channel, whatever size it is.
I don't judge content based on subscriber count. More often than not, I'll look at, after I see the content, I'll go look at the subscriber numbers and be like, oh, this person should have way more subscribers. I've not really looked at content and been like, why does this person have this many subscribers? So I don't, and then I think that encourages people to subscribe because they want to support you. So I think if you make good content, people aren't going to be like, oh my God, you only have 100 subscribers. I think people will be like, oh, how do you only have 100 subscribers? You're great. And then they're more likely to share your content and say, this channel's great.
Yeah. People want to be along for the journey.
I would add to that, whenever I start seeing a lot of comments coming through on my channel of people saying, oh my goodness, you only have whatever amount of subscribers. Why isn't this channel bigger? I know that my channel's about to grow when I start getting comments like that. And that's happened all along the way, even before 100,000 subscribers. Every time that happens, I'm like, yes, I know I'm on the right track because I'm creating content that's bigger than my channel, and it has to grow at that point.
Weirdly, we get exactly the opposite. We get exactly the opposite type of comments, like, how on earth did you get 1 million subscribers with the trash that you push out? I would also say that channels just look odd without subscriber counts because it's a default. And my immediate question is, somebody's hidden their subscriber count for some reason?
I always assume there's been
what
scandal.
are they hiding? Yeah,
I assume there's been scandal because that's the only time you see subscriber counts really get hidden. And again, the corners of YouTube I'm in are, commentary and drama because it correlates with what I do in the legal space. So, when you see like the Ace family hiding their subscriber count, you're like, what's going on? I need to know the drama. I need to know what you've done. What have you stepped in? And so that's my first assumption.
Yeah.
Right or wrong.
What a solid bunch of questions. What a nice live stream we've had with no interruptions whatsoever.
All right, let's see what we got here going on. It's terrible. What a waste of technology. I don't know why people do this to themselves. Absolutely trash. I've returned, and I just want everyone to know it's real. Only got a couple seconds.
Jeez, that was loud.
The Savage candles have sold out. They've sold out. I know they were only $89.95. I should have charged more. I knew it. But I do have a question. I had to jump in real quick because a couple of weeks ago, my dear, lovely young lady, Emily D. Baker, gave me some great advice. I hired those 12-year-olds like he told me to. But now their parents are trying to sue me. I don't know exactly what to do about this. So
you were supposed to hire your 12-year-olds.
No, I don't got no 12-year-olds. I ain't got no kids I know of. Look, let me explain something to you. These people are saying child labor laws and some other stuff, and I don't know nothing about any of that. I saw Emily D. Baker's on the line. I better jump on real quick before she gets off, because I know I can't get a hold of her. Otherwise, she's on that ABC 90 Day Fiance show. And I love that show, but I haven't seen you yet. I'm still, every day I watch it, man. I'm like, when is she going to come on there? 90 days, any day. And she's not on there.
It was the year. It was the year.
Oh.
ABC's the year 2021, not 90 Day Fiance.
Damn, I knew it was something about days or something.
That ship has sailed like 20 years ago for me.
Dang, well, we love you anyway. So anyway, is there any way I can get out of this lawsuit? Because I'm in trouble. I'm going to need some help.
You have to hire your own children. That'll help with that.
That means I gotta go get children. I don't want no children. At the tax
Borrow the Ace families. They let everyone, they monetize their children. They might not be upset about it.
Actually, I saw them selling lemonade down the road. I think I'm gonna go down there right now and go pick them out
and ask.
Yeah, this has been great. I watched about 2 or 3 minutes of it. It was awesome, and I learned so much. Is there anything you want to tell everybody before everyone leaves and goes home and does things like lunch and dinner and stuff?
Who, me?
I'm taking over. You notice I'm hosting now. Look at this.
Yeah.
Keeping it moving. So why don't we go ahead and go through it, and everyone tell everybody about where can we find you, everybody? Where on the YouTubes can we find you? Let's start with, I don't know. Let's start over here. Dan, where can people find you?
vidIQ.
That's great. Emily D. Baker, where can people find you if they're looking for you and not needing law advice?
Look for the Purple Hearts at the Emily D. Baker all over the internet.
All right, let's start from the top. I know I've seen you somewhere. I think it was on TMZ or something. Tell people where they can find you.
Definitely TMZ.
Yeah. Oh, you're talking about me?
Yeah. Congratulations is what it says.
Oh yeah. No, it's congrats. You can find me on Channel Makers on YouTube. That's probably the primary place, or channelmakers.com.
Channelmakers.com. That's a good thing. How did you get that without someone else buying it? Did you a little flim flam? Because I feel like someone would have owned that already.
I had to fight an army of gnomes to get it.
Before.
It was free. I got it. So yeah.
My kneecaps were scraped. Rob, where can people see people? Oh, look, there's Emily D. Look at this. Look at that.
Wait, are we at where are we? Are we at like 197? We were close.
Oh, wait.
Darn it, you went too fast.
Yeah.
197.
Yeah. Nice.
Be 200K here real soon.
You're so cool, Emily.
I don't know about that. Oh, I love that banner.
Yeah, I'm envious of that as well. I like it.
All in
I
one.
love your banner too.
Look at that. Who that is in that banner? Who that is?
I love that.
Yeah, if you need help growing your business with better social media and content marketing, that's what I do a couple times a week.
Help me do the TikTok dances, because I don't know how to do any of them.
That's literally what I've been doing lots of. No dancing. Your girl is uncoordinated.
Damn, I guess I can't hire you then.
I can lip sync real well though.
So could Milli Vanilli, and they won lots of things when they did that. It was awesome. That was an awesome time in the 90s.
It went so well for them. The 90s were so good.
Oh my God.
You were so good.
All right. Well, anyway, I'm done.
Yep. I think we're all done. I think that put a fork in this live stream.
Was
that the nail in the coffin of this live stream?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think your Subway is calling.
I already ate it. Believe it or not. Look at this. These were the chocolate chip cookies that I had in Subway. And then this used to be the sandwich, but it's gone. It's gone, man. I already ate it.
Looks like you cut the crust off of it and put it in the wrapper.
They crusty around here, man. Let me tell you, I like to get the flatbread. There's no crust on that. But here's the thing. Here's the trick. Those wraps and those flatbreads, you think, oh, that's healthy right there. I'm gonna lose me some weight. And then you look at the actual like calories and sodium and stuff. You're like, good God, I should just go ahead and just drink a gallon of Kool-Aid because it's all the same, really, to be honest. I might as well have had something that was tasty instead of this busted sandwich I got thinking I'm saving weight. Here I am.
Subway is so tasty.
My love handles have handles on them.
That's gonna be defend the indefensible. Subway's delicious.
That's what I said.
All right. Bye, everybody. Thank you for being here.
Yeah.
The links for everything are down below. I don't know how else to end the stream.
Like this. It's perfect.
We're going to fight over Subway. Subway. It's so good.